Top 25 single-player games to mask your loneliness. Episode 1. Now drop that F in the chat, cause...
Oh shit, here we go again.
Horizon Forbidden West. Listen, these robot dinosaurs are freakier than a clown at a funeral. Aloy, our red-headed protagonist, is back with her trusty bow and arrow, taking down these mechanical beasts like a hunter on a caffeine binge. The open world is gorgeous, but honestly, I spend more time gawking at the scenery than actually doing anything. The combat is a satisfying mix of dodging, shooting, and setting traps, but it can get repetitive after a while. And don't even get me started on the climbing puzzles. Just give me a ladder already. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This game is like a Saturday morning cartoon on steroids. Ratchet & Clank are back with their wacky arsenal of weapons, dimension hopping through vibrant worlds, and blasting everything in sight. The gameplay is fast-paced and chaotic, but it's also surprisingly polished. And the humor? It's cheesier than a deep dish pizza, but somehow it works. If you're looking for a mindless action-packed romp, this is it. Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This game is like a Pixar movie come to life. You play as Kena, a young spirit guide who helps troubled spirits cross over to the afterlife. The world is gorgeous with lush forests, ancient ruins, and adorable little creatures called Rot. The combat is a satisfying mix of melee attacks, ranged attacks, and spirit abilities. And the story is surprisingly emotional, dealing with themes of loss, grief, and moving on. Be prepared for some frustrating platforming sections. Persona 5 Royale. High school by day, Phantom Thieves by night. This is the life of the Phantom Thieves of Hearts in this stylish JRPG. The story is a thrilling mix of teenage angst, social commentary, and supernatural shenanigans. The turn-based combat is addictive, the characters are charming, and the music is an absolute bop. But be warned, this game is a serious time sink. You'll spend hours exploring dungeons, fusing personas, and building relationships with your confidants. And just when you think you're done, they hit you with a whole new semester of content. God of War Ragnarok. Kratos, the angriest dad in gaming history, is back with his son Atreus for another round of family therapy with axes. This time they're taking on Norse mythology, which means battling gods and monsters straight out of a heavy metal album cover. The combat is brutal with bone-crunching combos and visceral finishers. But be warned, the story is so emotionally charged you might need a tissue box handy. And if you're not a fan of puzzles, well, too bad. There are plenty of those too. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Square Enix decided to give us a glow-up of one of the most beloved JRPGs of all time, and boy did they deliver. Kind of. The graphics are stunning, the combat is flashy, and the music is as iconic as ever. But the story, it's a mess. They've added so many new plot points and characters, it's like trying to follow a soap opera on fast forward. And don't even get me started on the ending. It's so out there it makes Kingdom Hearts look like a children's book. Unpacking. Who knew unpacking boxes could be so emotional? This Zen puzzle game lets you unpack a person's belongings as they move through different stages of life. It's a surprisingly moving experience, with each object telling a story about the person who owns it. The gameplay is simple but satisfying, with a focus on organizing and arranging items in a way that feels right. And the music is gentle and soothing, the perfect accompaniment to a quiet afternoon of unpacking. Elden Ring. From Software decided to take their signature difficulty and sprinkle it over a massive open world. The result? A game that's equal parts breathtaking and frustrating. You'll spend hours exploring stunning landscapes only to be curb stomped by a random enemy around the corner. The combat is as punishing as ever, but the sense of accomplishment you feel after defeating a boss is unmatched. Hades. Ever wanted to escape from the underworld? Well, in this roguelike dungeon crawler, you get to do just that. You play as Zagreus, the rebellious son of Hades who's determined to break free from his father's domain. The combat is fast-paced and frantic with a wide variety of weapons and abilities to master. The story is surprisingly heartwarming with a cast of colorful characters who'll make you want to keep coming back for more. And the music? It's the perfect soundtrack for your escape from hell. Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima, the mastermind behind the Metal Gear Solid series, decided to make a game about delivering packages? Yep, that's Death Stranding in a nutshell. You play as Sam Porter Bridges, a courier tasked with reconnecting a fractured America. The gameplay is a unique blend of hiking, inventory management, and stealth. It's weird, it's divisive, but it's also strangely compelling. If you're looking for something different, this is it. Stray. Finally, a game where you get to play as a cat. This adventure game lets you explore a cyberpunk city from a feline perspective, solving puzzles, platforming across rooftops, and interacting with the robotic inhabitants. The world is beautifully crafted, the puzzles are clever, and the story is surprisingly touching. But be warned, you might end up wanting to adopt a cat after playing this game. Ghost of Tsushima. Imagine a samurai movie directed by Akira Kurosawa, but you're the star. That's Ghost of Tsushima in a nutshell. You play as Jin Sakai, a warrior sworn to protect his homeland from Mongol invaders. The combat is elegant and deadly, with a focus on parrying and counterattacks. But the real star of the island is Tsushima itself, a sprawling open world teeming with beauty and danger. Just don't expect a happy ending. This is a samurai story after all. Trek to Yomi. This game is like a Kurosawa film, but with more button mashing and less profound dialogue. You play as Hiroki, a samurai on a quest for revenge, slashing his way through hordes of enemies in stylish black and white. The combat is simple but satisfying, with a focus on parrying and timing. But the real star is the art direction, which perfectly captures the aesthetic of classic samurai cinema. Just be warned, the story is as predictable as a Hollywood rom-com. The Forgotten City. Imagine Groundhog Day, but instead of Punxsutawney, you're stuck in an ancient Roman city. And instead of a weatherman, you're a time traveler trying to break a mysterious curse. The gameplay is a unique blend of exploration, dialogue, and time loop manipulation. The story is gripping, with a cast of intriguing characters and a mystery that'll keep you guessing until the very end. And the music is hauntingly beautiful, perfectly capturing the atmosphere of this ancient city. Eastward. This game is like a love letter to classic JRPGs. It follows the story of John, a silent miner, and Sam, a mysterious girl with special powers, as they journey through a post-apocalyptic world. The pixel art is charming, the characters are endearing, and the story is surprisingly heartwarming. The combat is simple but engaging, with a focus on puzzle solving and exploration. And the music is absolutely delightful, a nostalgic throwback to the golden age of JRPGs. The Pathless. Ever wanted to run through a forest at breakneck speed while shooting arrows at giant cursed spirits? Well, now you can. This unique action-adventure game lets you explore a vast open world, gliding through the air, scaling cliffs, and solving puzzles. The combat is minimalistic but satisfying, with a focus on movement and timing. And the music is absolutely breathtaking, perfectly capturing the sense of awe and wonder as you explore this mysterious world. Just be prepared for some motion sickness if you're prone to it. Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar Games took their open world formula and transported it to the Wild West. The result? A sprawling epic that's both beautiful and brutal. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw with a heart of gold. Or maybe just a sliver. The world is meticulously crafted with stunning vistas, bustling towns, and plenty of opportunities for mischief. The combat is satisfying, the story is gripping, and the characters are unforgettable. Just be prepared for a slow burn. This game takes its time. Death's Door. Imagine a Zelda-like dungeon crawler but with crows instead of fairies. That's Death's Door in a nutshell. You play as a crow who reaps souls for a living, tasked with tracking down a rogue soul who's escaped the afterlife. The combat is challenging but rewarding, with a variety of weapons and abilities to master. The world is dark and atmospheric, filled with secrets to uncover and bosses to defeat, and the music is hauntingly beautiful, perfectly setting the mood for this grim adventure. Tunic. This isometric action-adventure game is like a Zelda game designed by a fox. You play as a tiny fox who wakes up on a mysterious island, armed with nothing but a stick and a shield. The world is beautifully crafted, filled with secrets to uncover and enemies to defeat. The combat is challenging but rewarding, with a focus on dodging and parrying. And the story is told through cryptic environmental clues and a mysterious in-game manual. Just be prepared to get lost. A lot. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Vikings. Who doesn't love Vikings? In this installment of the Assassin's Creed franchise, you play as Eivor, a fierce raider who sets sail for England to establish a new home. The combat is visceral, with axes flying, blood splattering, and heads rolling. The open world is vast and beautiful, filled with Saxon settlements to raid, Roman ruins to explore, and mythical creatures to hunt. The story is a bit convoluted, but who cares? You're a Viking. Go raid some villages. Chicory, a colorful tale. Imagine a coloring book that came to life, and you're the one holding the brush. That's Chicory in a nutshell. You play as a dog wielding a magical paintbrush, tasked with restoring color to a world that's lost its vibrancy. The gameplay is relaxing and meditative, with a focus on exploration and creativity. The story is heartwarming, dealing with themes of self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and finding your own voice. And the music is absolutely delightful, a whimsical soundtrack to your artistic journey. Hollow Knight. This Metroidvania platformer is like a love letter to classic Castlevania games. You play as a nameless knight who descends into the depths of Hallownest, a sprawling underground kingdom filled with bizarre creatures and forgotten secrets. The world is beautifully crafted, the combat is challenging but rewarding, and the story is surprisingly emotional. Inscryption. This game is like a deck-building roguelike designed by a mad scientist. You play as a prisoner trapped in a cabin with a mysterious figure who forces you to play a card game with deadly consequences. The gameplay is addictive and challenging, with a unique blend of card battling, escape room puzzles, and psychological horror. The story is twisted and unpredictable, with shocking twists and turns that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Be prepared for some jump scares. Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Knights. This Metroidvania platformer is like a dark fairy tale come to life. You play as Lily, a young priestess who awakens in a ruined kingdom overrun by undead creatures. The world is hauntingly beautiful, the combat is challenging but fluid, and the story is surprisingly melancholic. The game's unique mechanic of purifying fallen knights to gain their abilities adds an interesting layer to the gameplay. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Geralt of Rivia, everyone's favorite monster hunting silver fox, is back for his biggest adventure yet. This game is massive, with a sprawling open world, hundreds of side quests, and enough monster contracts to keep you busy for months. The combat is a bit clunky, but the story is engaging. The characters are memorable, and the romance options are interesting. Just be warned, if you start playing this game, you might not see the sun for a while. Drop an F in the chat to pay respect. Or maybe some games you'd like to see in the next episode. Gotta go now, because unlike you, I got friends. Bye.